I'm here, everyone. Sorry. I was scared there. I had the wrong time, and that's kind of weird. So, anyway, hello, everyone. Cathy is here, your wellness coach, as well as your fellow female activist. Today, we will probably be here close to an hour. So, happy gratitude, everyone. So, today we will be experiencing probably the longest so far flow. We're going to, though, um, PQ rep, so positive quotient repetitions. It's help us drop into our bodies, okay? And then we'll move into our flow. So you will need today preferably two blocks. They're not necessary per se, but I will be using them for our peak pose to show you different modifications. So if you have a block, feel free to put it underneath you if you wish. If not, we're going to get started. You can remove the flesh from your bum. And we will get started with our positive quotient repetitions. So roll your shoulders back, okay, and get that nice tall spine, okay. And if you feel safe, you can close your eyes. And we're going to go ahead and practice a little bit more advanced PQ reps. And this is going to be very similar to what you would experience, let's say, with guided meditation and your breath. So, what we're going to do is you're going to listen to your breath. You're not changing your breath at all. And what you're going to do is every time you breathe, you're going to think very lightly, breath, breath. And I want you to continue to think very slightly, like use 10% of your brain to just think breath. And when you find yourself, uh, you know, losing your train of thought of breath, come back to your breath, and I will be reminding you. Here we go. Okay, feel free to close your eyes. Let's take one controlled breath though. So inhale and then exhale. Now let your breathing just be natural. And you're going to, every time you do feel yourself breathe, you're going to think breath. And yes, your mind's going to wander, but that's okay. If your mind has started to wander, feel free to bring it back gently to your breath. Gently bring your thoughts back to your breath. And we're just about done. Feel free, if your eyes are closed, to blink them over. That, again, is an advanced version of PQ reps. And I know it's dark, or at least there's shade or shadows, so I apologize. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to start. Okay, so we're going to get up. And keep in mind, I put in the description what we're doing. So we're going to go through sun salutations A, B, and C, just one round each, and then we'll go into the next part of the flow. But I really want this warmed up because our peak pose is Camel. So if you're familiar with Camel at all, it can be, considered maybe an advanced, but intermediate to advanced, but do what you can and don't get frustrated. Okay, this is supposed to be about gratitude, but what a better way to show gratitude than to be in Camel? It's in a chest opener. Okay, it's an expansion. This whole theme today is gratitude expansion. All right, so yes, I have notes down there, and I know that my head is a little off, but that's okay. So we're going to be in Tadasana, all right? Hip width is always my preference. So take your fist, if you have never tried this, take your two fists, push them together, and then put them between your feet. That is approximately hip width. And your hips, okay, think about your hip joints, all right, not your hips. Your hip joints are here. So hip width is very, very forgiving on our bodies, okay, as females. So we're going to start with Sun Salutation A. You're going to swing back your shoulders, and the dual action you're always going to hear me today, it's going to be very important, is your belly button nice and tucked, okay, and towards your spine and up, and then your ribs are knitted, and that's because I want us to keep a nice elongated back. Okay, we want to keep that back as neutral as often as possible, especially when we're back bending. Okay, so shoulders back, Tadasana, Sun Salutation A starts now. You're going to inhale and then exhale into extended mountain pose. Again, really think about that belly button nice and tucked or towards your spine and your ribs knitted. Okay. Then you're going to go into Uttanasana, forward fold, and keep a generous bend in that knee, in those knees, okay? Uttanasana. Then inhale into flat back, okay? And your hands, we're just warming up, so we're going to take it easy. Hands on your shins, looking down. And then you're going to put your hands down between or by your feet, one back foot, then the other. Then you're going to be in plank. Then you're going to shift first shift, then put your knees down, untuck the toes, and then come down slowly with your elbows really close to your sides. And then you're going to take a nice little baby cobra. So you want to feel your feet, okay, or I should say the tops of your feet on the floor, and then your hands should have to come up, okay? This is baby cobra, but your hands obviously are right underneath your shoulders and they're barely touching the floor. So baby cobra, okay? Then tuck those toes again. You're going to push off the floor, bend or bring the bum back, and then we're coming into a modified downward facing dog. And this is awesome because it doesn't matter if your heels get to the floor. More important is that your back, okay, straight. And that's what we're working on right now. Okay, then go ahead, look forward, okay, between your hands. And then you're going to go ahead, take one foot forward, then the other, keep that hip width. Then you're going to go back into your half back, okay, hands on the shins. Inhale, exhale down into your Uttanasana, generous bend in those knees. It's morning for most of us. Then go ahead, come all the way up like a ragdoll into extended mountain pose once again. Belly button nice and tight towards your spine, ribs knitted. Then bring your hands into prayer and into mountain pose. Awesome. Now we will run into the Sun Salutation B. And again, we're running through these because we really want to be warm. This will be like a full body. Okay, so Sun Salutation B. We are again in Tadasana, looking forward. Okay, belly button nice and towards your spine, ribs knitted. The other dual action that's really going to help you is inner thighs energetically come together and your outer hips nice and into the midline, which means your bum is nice and tight. Palms go ahead, can face each other. into Dasana. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your fingers are facing down towards the floor. And then you're going to start bending. Okay, bending your knees. And at which time your fingers should touch the floor. This is your proper alignment for then chair. Imagine that. So now we're in chair. And yes, it's early, but this is chair. So this is chair, this is chair, this is chair. Then go ahead on inhale and then exhale into Uttanasana. Again, you can keep again the bent legs if that's good for you. Then either hands on your shins, or if you're able to keep a flat back, you can go ahead and put your fingers down for half back, but only if your back is straight. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead, put our hands by our feet into plank and into our vinyasa. So here we are in a strong plank. Shift first. Then you're going to put your knees down, untuck the toes if you so choose, or you could just go into upward facing dog. I'm going to go ahead and go into cobra. So either baby cobra or cobra. Okay, doesn't matter. Or you can even go into a higher cobra. If you so choose, go into upward facing dog, that's fine too. Tuck the toes, and then push back into your downward facing dog. If you're starting to warm up, then you can probably think about getting those knees a little straighter. Again, it's totally your own, it's up to you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look forward, okay? Then we're going to start with our left foot forward. Look back, make sure you're not on a tightrope, okay? So that means you don't want to be one foot behind the other. You want to keep that hip width, okay? Then with a nice inhale, then exhale up into crescent pose. Now, if you so choose to go into warrior one, you can do that, but I like crescent. It helps us understand to keep our hips forward, okay? So that back foot you should be on the ball, that back foot pressing really like into the mat. Meanwhile, that front knee gets to be tracking over that second toe, okay? The way to stay upright in this position is to think about the other dual action of your inner thighs energetically coming together. You probably felt that lift, as well as your actual feet energetically trying to come together. And if you do that, all of a sudden you have this lift, and it's really cool. That's Mula Bandha. That's what we want to feel often, okay? But this is crescent pose, okay? You can sub for this versus using warrior one. I like this one better. Here we go. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go ahead and come back down. Hands on the floor. Back into your vinyasa. Shift. So you're in plank. Shifting forward. Knees down. Untuck the toes. Come down to chaturanga. Again, you can go into your upward facing dog if you wish. I'm going to stay in cobra just because I can. Then push back into your downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here. So inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, and then exhale. Look forward. Now you're going to take your right foot between your hands. If it doesn't make it, you put it there. Look back. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Make sure that you have a nice sturdy stance. Again, you're on the ball with your back foot, so you got to keep steady. Then go ahead, inhale, and then exhale up. It's just the easiest way to do it. Again, you can be in warrior one, but I prefer crescent. Warrior one, just so you're wondering, is you would turn out that back foot just a tad, almost a 45-degree angle. But again, people tend to forget to keep their hips straight. So that's why I like crescent. But as we're in Sun Salutation B, Warrior One is part of Sun Salutation B. So crescent pose, again, the right front knee is tracking with that second toe, okay? Nice. Directly, knee is over the ankle. And that back foot, again, that ball of the foot is really digging into the mat. That's how you're staying straight. And of course, your navel in and up and your ribs tucked, as well as, again, the other dual action of your feet energetically coming together and your inner thighs energetically coming together. Helps you stay in this pose, okay? It's a fun pose. It's working your legs. You're gonna need your legs later. All right, inhale, exhale. Let's go ahead, inhale, and then exhale down, hands down. As we come into your show. Again, you can decide which vinyasa you want to go. So forward, if you're chaturanga, and then into upper facing dog, if that's working for you. And then into your downward facing dog. And you should be getting warm. You should still, you definitely should be getting a little bit of DNA rolling. Okay, now go ahead, inhale, and exhale. Inhale one more time, and exhale. Let's look forward, one foot forward, then the other. Keeping that hip width. Now you're going to have your half back, and then go ahead, Uttanasana. Again, however you want to, again, progress, all right? I'm not here to tell you what to do. Now go ahead. Keep your hands, again, your fingers on the touching the floor, and then bend your knees, right? And then that's how you stay into your perfect chair pose, all right? And then inhale, and then exhale up, push through those knees, and then into your Tadasana. Yeah. Now we're going into Sun Salutation C. And if you need hydration at any time, guess what? Get it. Just like me. All right. So, Sun Salutation C. And yes, you should be feeling a little sweaty right now. Shoulders back, ribs knitted and down, navel in and up. Tadasana, Sun Salutation C. Now, inhale. Exhale with those arms going up into extended mountain pose. And bring your hands down into Uttanasana. And then half back, okay? When you're in your half back, think about tightening your bum. Your bum should always be tight, but think about it like just really firming up so that it lifts up, okay? You're not trying to push your bum back. You're trying to keep it nice and tight, okay? And that's what's going to give you integrity. And then go ahead, put your hands down, one foot back. Well, now we're going into, left foot stays up. That's automatic for me, so sorry. But you're going to go into a low lunge. So the right, look back, make sure you're not on tightrope. The front left foot is going to stay in front. You're in a 90-degree angle with that. And the right leg is what goes back. You can have it either tucked or untucked, okay? I always have padding, okay? So there is no shame in padding. All right, so you're going to inhale and then exhale up. That's why you want to keep, okay? Even though we're in a low lunge right now, still think about your 2 feet energetically trying to come together. Sounds weird, right? Because they're not going anywhere, they're isometric. But you're going to think about them trying to come together because that's going to help move the bandha, as well as your inner thighs energetically come together and your outer hips nice and into the midline. This is a strong strong pose, okay? When you really think about it. Navel in, ribs knitted and down. This is your little lunge. You can have your hands here, prayer, maybe out on the hips, or the full expression, or your arms are up, and you can be a little back bend if you're feeling it. Meanwhile, now this is where it's important to really think about if you want to go into the next pose is plank. So you would get into plank, okay? But tabletop is okay too, okay? So you're planking, right? But I want you to shift first always, whether you're on tabletop or in plank. So you're going to shift first, then put your knees down, untap the toes. And yes, the next pose is knees, chest, chin. So then you're going to go down to chaturanga, but your chest and your chin are coming to the floor. Your belly stays up. And yes, this is a chest opener. And let's go ahead and snake open forward into cobra. Okay, so you can be in baby cobra or cobra. Okay, but the pose is cobra. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and get into your downward facing dog. You can untap the toes, come up, or slinky like into downward facing dog. And that's awesome. Alrighty. And yes, this is a resting pose, believe it or not. Okay, there's a lot going on, but it is a resting pose, so this is always a place you can be. Okay, or take child's pose. Okay, now you're going to go ahead, look forward, because now we're going to take the other leg into low lunge. So we were on our left. So now you're going to look forward, and then you're going to send your right foot forward. If it doesn't get there like mine didn't, you put it there. Again, you want to look, make sure that you're not on a tight rope. And then you have that nice right angle with the front leg. And then you're going to put that left knee down. Again, making sure you're not on a tight rope. Then you're going to inhale and then exhale up. Okay, roll those shoulders back. Again, the right knee will track over the second toe. That is assuring that you have a nice alignment. Your hips are always straight, okay? Once again, think about your 2 feet trying to energetically come together. That pull that you automatically feel, that's Mula Bandha. That's your pelvic floor coming up. That's what we want. Inner thighs energetically coming together at the same time. Oh yeah, that's how you stay upright. Navel in, knitted ribs, okay? Hands can be down, anywhere you want. This is the full expression of the pose when your arms are overextended over your head. And if you want, take a little back bend, as we will be getting into that a little bit later. Go ahead, inhale your hands down, and now we're going back into plank. Okay, so get into plank, and then back into knees, chest, chin. So you shift first, then you put the knees down. You can untuck the toes, depends, right? I like to have them untucked. And then you're going to come down to chest and chin. And again, it's okay if you don't get here, but your butt stays up. And then sink into what would be baby or full cobra. All right, navel in, those ribs nice and knitted. Go ahead, tuck the toes and get into your downward facing dog. Feels great. How you doing? If you need to take a rest, take a rest. Now we're going to go ahead, look forward. One foot goes forward, then the other. Then you go into your half back. And that's your, and it, when, if your fingers are on the mat, they get to be directly underneath your shoulders, okay? Then Uttanasana, okay? And then you're taking it all the way up into extended mountain extended mountain, and then back into Tadasana. You made it so far. We're halfway down. So now we have completed the sun salutation, so you should feel nice and warm. That was the idea. Now we're gonna head down to the floor, and we're gonna stay down because now we're gonna work on more expansion, okay, so that we're ready for our peak pose. So go ahead, inhale, arms overhead, and then bring them into a swan dive down as you get into tabletop. So if you are like me, then you need something for your knocking knees. And there is no shame in that. So what we're going to do now is really warm up our chest area. And we're going to go through thread the needle. I love thread the needle. It's like so satisfying. So we're going to start with our left side. Okay. You're going to go ahead, put your arm up on the left side. And then all you're going to do is you're going to thread it through, okay, through the right side. And then think about each time sending your hips to the left. Here we go. Inhale. And exhale again down. We're going to do this 2 more times. And then we're going to hold it. Inhale. And exhale. This is wonderful. You can do this before bed and it feels awesome. And then inhale 1 more time. And then we're going to stay in thread the needle. Because I really want you to send your hips to the left. You should be feeling, okay, this in your upper thoracic area, which is your upper back. Because I really want you to have an open back for what we're going to get to do later. And you can have your arm in front of you, okay, support. You can have the right arm up or behind you. Doesn't really matter, it's up to you. We're going to take a few more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 1 more time, inhale. And then use the exhale to come back up. Oh yeah, that felt awesome. Okay, so now, same thing here, where you want to go ahead and we're going to go with the right side. Put it out of the way. So bring the right arm up and then thread it through the needle. Okay. Inhale and exhale. Then inhale and exhale. And this time we're going to unfortunately be facing away from you. But enjoy. And then come down. And again, your left hand now can be stationary, okay, holding you down, or it can be up, if you so choose, or it can be behind you. But either way, I want you to think about your hips now going to the right, because you're trying to really open up this whole upper back area. Because, believe it or not, back bends are not about it's not about how low you go, it's about elongating your spine. Okay, let's take a few breaths. Inhale and exhale. Then inhale and then exhale. And then 1 more time, inhale and then exhale up. And back to tabletop. All right, so now we're going to get on our tummy and we're going to, again, continue working on our front side. So we were working on our posterior. Now we're going to work, and you're going to love me for this, okay? Now we're going to get down on our bellies and we're going to work on our the front of us, so that we have a little bit more range when we get into our peak pose. So you're going to you're going to see my hair crazy because I'm going to have to flip it over so that my hat doesn't fall off. when we get into the peak pose. So what you're going to do, you can see, right? The adjusting always takes place. Okay, so I will, we're going to use our left arm. We're going to put it out in a T, okay? And you're going to put your left cheek on the floor. I think you can see me, yeah. And then what you're going to do, I do have to flip it over already. Sorry, everyone. I need a haircut really bad. All right, so now cheek, okay? And then you're going to use your right arm to brace, and then you're going to take that right foot and it's going to start to push off so that it comes in the back. Now, if this is where you are, that's where you are. That's okay. You should be feeling it right here, okay, in the front shoulders, and there's a reason why. So if you're here, you're here. But if you so choose, okay, your back foot, okay, would be flat. It could actually be on tippy toes, okay. Either way, you should be feeling the shoulder, okay, and it shouldn't be pinching, but you can use that right hand, sorry, to push, and you should feel more leverage, okay. This is a good way to open up this front area, which is what we need. And this is wonderful right before bed, believe it or not. It's just a really nice way to bring some circulation. Okay. And then let's go ahead and come back gently. Go ahead and you can put your forehead, okay, let your arms relax in whichever position. I kind of like gold close the most, but whatever works for you. Okay. And what we do on this side, we get to do it together. So this is important again because we're going to be using our shoulders to push ourselves up, and then elongate our spine, right? So it's important to have a really open chest, to include not rounded, okay, shoulders, which all of us have because of the devices that we're using, right? I don't want to have my butt in your face, so I think we'll be okay. Maybe not. We'll see. No, my butt won't be in your face. I don't want to do that to you. You stay. I will change. Okay, so your right arm is what now is coming out, okay, to the side. And then your left hand is what can give you leverage, right? So your right cheek comes down, and then you're pushing off, all right? So inhale, and then you push. And again, your foot doesn't have to go behind, all right? The idea is that you're feeling that shoulder, okay? And it shouldn't be pinched. It's just going to be nice, and you should feel some stretching, in other words, okay? It's okay to have discomfort in yoga or in any activity that you're, learning. What you don't want is pain. Pain is different. Pain is not good. But this should be okay, right? So you can have your hand up, maybe behind you. I like it in front of me though. One, for safety, but two, again, so I can push and make sure that I'm getting that leverage. And this will be all worth it, I promise. Okay, and inhale. And then exhale back. Again, you can put your forehead down. Bring your arms to relax mode. As now, we're ready. So go ahead and push yourself up into tabletop. And now, the fun shall begin. So I may have to keep my hat off. We'll see. Hydrate because you're going to need it. Now we're going to learn our peak pose. So again, depending on where you're at, it may be a little off-putting, but there's nothing wrong with learning a new pose if this is new to you. So camel, again, is a back bend, but it's really awesome. So back bends aren't about trying to get, this perfect uniform. The idea of a back bend is actually to elongate your spine, believe it or not. So we're going for expansion of your chest, and not I'm trying to think of the so the expansion of your chest isn't about going this way. It's about up and then back, right? So it's always up and then back. Okay, so it's not about can you get your chest wide. It's about can I get my shoulders behind me, okay, and can I elongate back, if that makes sense. So this is going to be kind of like a little mini clinic, okay? So what you're going to do, this is where you're going to need your blocks if you have them, or 2 books about the same size. Heavier the better. I will say that cork is awesome when it comes to yoga blocks. They're sturdier, so you can bear more weight. The foam ones are, they're fine and they're easy to carry, like if you're going somewhere, but they aren't as sturdy, so to speak. So just keep that in mind. But they're still usable. And if you don't have blocks, it's okay. What will happen is you, especially if you're new to this, right? This is going to be me teaching you, okay, this is how you're going to think about the pose. So I want to make sure you can see me though. And I know there's a lot of shadows, so I apologize. And if you're like me, right, you need padding. So I think you can see my feet. All right, so this is Thunderbolt pose, but this is what we're going to be in for our first version of camel. So if you are not familiar with camel, okay, basically, again, it's a back bend, but we can work into it. So in Thunderbolt, okay, this is the way you'd be sitting. What you're going to do is you're going to take your hands, okay, and you're going to put your fingers, okay, or your hands on the top of, or I should say on the soles of your feet, right, where you're sitting on your heels basically, but you can still feel your toes. I can actually, let me show you. You're going to see my feet, just so that you know where I'm going with this. Okay, so you're sitting, okay, on your heels, but your hands, okay, you should be able to see my hands, and you're going to just roll your shoulders back, okay, nice, tight, knitted ribs, and then your belly button is nice and taut towards your spine, and then you're going to look back and up, okay. I'm going to make sure you can see my feet and my hands. It's hard to see from this angle, but I want to make sure you can see it. Okay, so here we go. So really think about nice, taut navel towards your spine, ribs knitted, roll your shoulders back, put your fingers, okay, your hands on those feet, okay, and then look up. And this is camel. And my voice shouldn't be changing, which means that I got work to do, but it should feel the same. And then come back up. So we're not going to stay in there too long, but that's your first version of camel. And guess what? If that's where you stay for the next few minutes, that's where you're staying. Now we get to use the block. And again, it doesn't have to be a block. It can even be like, have you seen those Pilates balls? You can use a Pilates ball. But what we don't want in camel is for this to happen. We don't want our knees to splay out. We need to keep the integrity. We need to keep our inner thighs energetically moving together and our outer hips towards the midline. That's how we keep integrity, okay, in our block. So now we're going to be using the block to give us the type of tension that we want. So again, the block. If you don't have it, just pretend you have it. You're going to put it in between your thighs, the higher the better. This is going to show you how much of that energetic feeling you want. That mula bandha is what gives us the lift we need, okay? So your feet can be tucked or untucked. The difference is that you might have a little more stability if they are tucked, okay? So squeeze that block, and then what you're going to do, your hands are still going to help you. So this time, your hands, okay, are going to be facing upwards, but they're going to be, okay, just above your lower back, sorry. And this to help you elongate, right? So what you're going to do is the hands are right here, okay, the fingers are up, and then roll your shoulders back, and then navel in, ribs are knitted, and you should be gripping that block like it's the death grip. Here we go. Inhale, and then exhale, push up against your back, okay, with this hand, and then the back, and then come back up. I'm gonna have to, my hair is crazy, everyone, but I'm gonna have to take it off because I don't want it to fall off and disturb anybody. So here we go. One more time. Inhale, and then exhale, really push into your bum, and then back. And here you are. And my voice is a little different, and even though it shouldn't be. And then come back up. Excellent. I'm sorry about my hair. I'm just going to shave it. All right, so if that's where you are with this, if you don't have a block, again, you would just pretend, okay? You would just go ahead and say, okay, I don't have a block. That's all right. And it's the same thing. So you just come back, and then you work on getting those shoulders back. Okay. And my voice did change, unfortunately. Okay. So now that's where you would be. Okay. Maybe that's where you stay and keep practicing. So now you're moving along and you're feeling frisky. So now the blocks become your gauge as to where you're at. So now what you're going to do is use the blocks as your baseline, okay? You're bringing the floor closer, or you're bringing your feet literally closer to you, okay? That's why you use the blocks. So again, the blocks are no longer in between your legs at this point. Now you've gotten strong enough to bring that mula bandha into your inner thighs energetically on its own. And now the hands are coming off your back and they're going to find the blocks, okay? So approximately where your ankles are. Inner thighs energetically come together. Okay, they're not together. Remember, they're never together because that's just too tight. They are approximately, more or less, they're a little closer than hip width, right? So now your hands are going to be coming behind you. That's why you want to be able to roll your shoulders back. So here we go. The navel in and up, ribs tucked. Really think about your bum, okay, nice and tight. So now roll the shoulders back, and then little by little, you find your trusty blocks, and then you look up, and here you are in Camel, and you feel awesome. It feels good, and then you come back up, and it can be one arm at a time. If you feel a little bit more stable, you can come up kind of both. I tend to come up one at a time, but very similar. And then all that happens is that you start to change the height. But each time, again, the blocks are still helping you, all right? And there's nothing wrong with that. This is about, again, learning how to elongate, okay? So it's not about getting into, putting your hands on the floor. It's about how can I elongate my spine? That's the point of this. So You can try with your toes tucked, untucked, doesn't matter. But again, you're just keeping, okay, that idea of going back. So now you inhale, but you always prepare, always prepare. So inhale, and then you exhale down, look for the blocks. And here you go. And you're in camel. And it feels awesome. And then you come back up. Now, the last set is the same height as my ankle, so that's why I wouldn't necessarily need the blocks. So now you would be, okay, I'm gonna free float it. I'm gonna get into camel. So here we go. And no, I did not brush my hair earlier. All right, that's why I had the hat on. Forgetting that when you're in camel, it's gonna fall. All right, so here we go. Real time, people. Now, always navel in, ribs knitted, tight butt. Okay, you inhale, and then you exhale down. Find one ankle, then the other, and then here you are, and you're in camel. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale, and then exhale. Bring one arm up, then the other. That time my feet were tucked. You can try them without tuck. Again, it's just a preference. I have bunions, so it actually hurts to have my feet tucked. But this also means that now I have to go a little bit, because when you tuck your toes, it goes a little higher, right? So here we go. Inhale, exhale down, and you're in camel. There you go. And then come back up. So you don't have to stay there forever. Now you have finished, but we will definitely get into some supine twists, and then we'll get into Shavasana. So thank you for putting up with me. I really want people to understand that when you get into any, what you could consider intermediate or any pose for that matter, there are modifications. And even people who are like profoundly proficient at yoga use modifications, okay? So to counter our wonderful, we're gonna go into cat-cow. So back into tabletop, and it's gonna feel good after being in camel. You're going to go ahead and see, this is technically a back bend, all right? So cow, all right? Look forward, really dig that bum up, and then protract, and that should feel super good. And then a few more times. Inhale into cow, and then exhale. And then one more time. And then exhale again. Oh yeah. And we're going to go into some supine twists because we deserve it. So you're going to make your way to your back. And then what I want you to think about is why you're in the pose. So in a supine twist, when you were in the camel, right, it's basically posterior work and front work too. It's in it full expansion. Now what we're trying to do is kind of twist our spine so that it can be even more elongated. Now that it's nice and warm. So in a supine twist, the secret to safe supine twist is that your hips are stacked, okay? So with that said, what you want to do is, let's go ahead and we're going to have our left leg down, okay? And then, no, I want to show you what it feels like. So my bum is going to be facing you, unfortunately, but I want you to be very aware. So it's our left leg that's going to go to the other side. So our right leg is down, sorry. And this left shoulder should always stay on the floor, okay? If you start sending your knee over and you start lifting, that's when you stop, okay? The point of this, twist is to feel this from your fingertips has a stretch all the way from your arm into your hip. Okay, that's it. So now what we're going to do, the right foot is flexed, your left arm is out, okay? And you're going to use your right elbow to swing up so that your hips are stacking. And then if you notice already, my bent knee is practically already on the other side. So that's where you feel safe. And if this is where you're at, that's fine. Okay, again, it's about where your shoulder is. But if you can take your foot down to the other side and your shoulder stays, that's fine. Now, what you're going to do is you can put your hand in a, bow pose. It can be out. I like to actually have it more at an angle. That way I have this like diagonal. What you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb and you're going to push your hip on top out, so forward, okay? Think about it going forward. Meanwhile, you want your fingers to be trying to get away from your hip. That is what you're feeling now. You're feeling this stretch, this twist. That's why these are so good. These are lovely. Supine twist, oh yeah, they open everything. You should feel this nice stretch, and it should feel really awesome after that camel. I know, I feel it. It feels so much more elongated. And when you're pushing your hips forward, either without the hand or with it, you can use the palm, and it really does help. But again, the whole point is that your shoulder, okay, should not be off the ground. And then go ahead, inhale. And then exhale, bring the foot back. Reset your hips, okay? You want to reset your hips. That's important because now we're going to go to the other side. So we're not going to change. You can say me since you're something, but your right arm, again, that's what sets the pace, okay? That shoulder stays on the ground. So the left leg is out, flex that foot, bend the right knee, and that's the one that's going to come over. But to do it, use your left elbow, okay? Or you can, just free form it and take your hips up, and then notice how they stack automatically, and that automatically takes the knee to the other side without much effort. And meanwhile, my right shoulder is down. And it's important, again, because you don't want to be losing integrity. Okay, so many people hurt themselves in yoga simply because they're trying to get into a shape instead of looking at what it could be if you kept mobility as your main focus. So again, I'm thinking about my fingers, trying to get further away from my hip. Okay, and it feels awesome. This is my shorter side, meaning my scoliosis side is more scrunched over here. So it feels really awesome because I'm giving all that space to my thoracic area that it doesn't usually have. And go ahead, inhale and exhale. And then go ahead, come out of it. Reset those hips. And you're in Shavasana, which is where we're going to end. So you have made it, my friends. So we will go ahead and get comfy. However you want to take Shavasana, your legs can be out. They can be, in butterfly. They can be knocking together, your knees together, your feet the width of the mat. You can be in fetal position. There can be something supporting you, your knees underneath, however you want. Your arms can be either by your side, on your one heart, one over the heart, one over the belly. You decide, you choose. This is your Shavasana. You've earned it. Get settled, and when you think you're ready, feel free to close your eyes. This is going to feel awesome. And we're letting our breath go. No more controlling it. just for a few minutes. I understand if you have to go, but give yourself this moment to reap the benefits of all of that work. Let your body melt into the mat. Let it be fully supported so there's no pressure points. Be okay with letting your mind just be. And I do apologize if you hear outside noises. If you must go, take a few seconds to stretch it in a full body stretch. And then take your time getting up. But if you can, I would say press pause even and give yourself as much time as possible to enjoy this moment. This is the actual peak pose of all your yoga flows. If you're in real time with me, I hate to wake us up, but we get to wiggle our fingers, wiggle those toes gently. If it feels okay, you can take your head from side to side slowly. All the while, if you can keep your eyes closed, that's awesome. If not, I understand. Sometimes it's a little odd. And when you're ready, go ahead and get to one side. Maybe a fetal position for you. And give yourself a few seconds to adjust. And then ever so carefully with your hand for support on the floor and your head coming up once. Let's get into a seated position, very slowly and gently. And any easy seat will work. Roll those shoulders back one more time. Take your hands overhead to a nice breathing, and then bring them down into prayer. And if it resonates with you, feel free to send your forehead towards the mat. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. I have enjoyed myself. I hope you could see. I know it was a little shadowy. I apologize. And there was a little mix up at the time. I thought it started at 8, but it ended up being earlier than I thought. So that was my bad, but I apologize. And usually these happen at 12 p.m. Pacific time, every last day of the month. And so our next one will be December 31st, hopefully at 12 p.m. Pacific time. But I have some stuff to get to today, so I wanted to start early. Meanwhile, thank you so much. Let me know what you liked, didn't like. Hey, all feedback is feedback. And we will see you again for our December 31st, which is New Year's Eve yoga flow. or a yoga clinic, depends. So with that, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Take care, take charge, God bless.